Since Season 3 started, Warzone seems really tough. I'm rarely coming across players making stupid mistakes. I'm finding people with dark skins, hiding in the dark of buildings, using meta weapons. They're moving around like crazy and they're working together really well as teams. As someone whose kill death is floating around 1.1, 1.2 normally, I usually get a proper mix of people in my game. Sometimes I get people who make stupid mistakes and I can take advantage of it, and occasionally there'll be a proper demon in my lobbies who'll absolutely destroy me. But this season my kill death has been absolutely plummeting. I don't think it's even above 1, and I've been trying to work out what's been going on. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out all of my streams. Right here on YouTube, I stream Call of Duty most days, so just make sure you turn notifications on and it'll tell you when I go live. Oh god, we have a helicopter!
Oh god!
So there's a few different things that are making Warzone harder at the moment, and I'm going to go through all of them and I will build up to what I think is the most important reason at the end of the video, so make sure you watch all the way through to the end. So first off, balance is becoming near impossible. There's more skins than ever, more weapons than ever, more different bits of equipment and combinations of perks, especially with the fact that now you can pick up an extra perk, so people will have 4 perks who are coming against you. The broader the range of variables is, the more likely there is for there to be something that's broken, or something that's overpowered. And with content creators desperate to tell you what the next big thing is, you know, what's the most meta weapon, what's the best way to play, whatever is broken in that balance will be found and then used super widely. So right now with the latest patch, lighting's got really dark, and that means those dark skins like the rose skin have become powerful again. So it's way harder to track people in some situations, especially like if they're in a building and you're not, or something like that. Also, lots of assault rifles just got a significant buff, so we're back to that kind of meta where somebody could potentially have one gun like the STG and be able to challenge you at basically any range. I'm really hoping that for Warzone 2 they start fresh with all of the weapons and operators, and they have like a really small group of operators, a really small collection of weapons, so they can take balancing even more seriously, and it might be actually manageable. Like right now, I don't think Raven are doing anything particularly wrong with balancing weapons. I think they've done a pretty good job considering how many there are. But there's just so many, it's like an impossible task. If they want the guns to feel different, if they want the operators to look different, there's always going to be something that has a slight advantage over everything else. The second reason it's getting harder is that Caldera is less forgiving as a map. There's wide open hillsides, there's redeploy balloons, there's buildings that you can shoot through. Nearly every building on the map you can shoot through the walls. A good player has plenty of options to chase you down and take you out. It's getting harder and harder to get out of a firefight, and people who know how to move around the map and use UAVs, and remember Ghost has been nerfed as well, can get to you much more easily. And that's really good for some players. It rewards people who have aggressive playstyles, and as much as you hear people saying like, oh, everyone's camping in Warzone now, I personally haven't really had that experience. Like, yeah, sometimes people will take up a defensive position when they know that you're coming to attack them, but generally the people that I spectate who have killed me are moving around the map incredibly quickly. But all of this does make it much harder for people like me, who are much more likely to like accidentally mantle up onto a bookshelf than they are to do a 360 no-scope. The final, and what I think is the most important reason that things are getting more difficult in Warzone, is that people are leaving the game. So imagine a bell curve of the skill level of all people playing Call of Duty, or any competitive multiplayer game really. The people in that lower end of the skill curve are not going to be having as much fun playing. They're going to get killed over and over, they probably don't have a steady team to play with, they're not getting many wins, they're not enjoying it. They're also probably less committed to the game, like they're probably not super big Battle Royale fans or Call of Duty fans. So they're disproportionately more likely to leave than anybody else. Like if any player is going to quit playing Warzone, it's way more likely to be someone who doesn't really care about Call of Duty, doesn't really care about Battle Royales, and they're having a bad time because they're losing every game, they're going to quit. They're also not getting replaced with new players. The game's been out for 2 years already. Most of the people who want to try Warzone probably have because it's free to play. There'll always be some like young people who are just getting old enough to play Warzone now and just getting an interest in it, but a lot of those people probably aren't going to want to get into a 2-year-old game at this point. There'll probably be new things that they're more interested in. So all of this combines to mean that there's less low-skilled players in the game than there ever has been before, and that problem is getting much worse. Additionally, the players in the middle and the top parts of the curve are getting better. These are the people who are maybe a bit more committed to Call of Duty, the people who really like Battle Royale games, the people who watch videos like this and then watch people like JGod or watch Iceman Isaac or It's Iron or someone like that and are trying to get better at the game. They've also got groups of people to play with, like they've got groups of friends to play with, and they'll get better over time at working together and playing together. These people have been playing for months or even years, and they've built up experience. The community knows what to look for when it comes to meta weapons and tactics, which means that as soon as a new patch comes out, there's immediately videos saying like, this is the weapon you should be using right now. And everyone just has more practice. Like, there's lots of people now who will have hundreds of hours in Warzone, which is a lot for a video game. Like, compared to, you know, normal people playing video games, probably play games for like 10, 20 hours. To have hundreds of hours into a game means you're probably quite good at it. The average player in Warzone is much better now than they were 2 years ago. All of that combined means that skill distribution is always creeping up higher and higher. The average players are better than ever before. And the higher that gets, the more it puts off new players, because that means now when they hop into a game, they'll get absolutely demolished because they'll be up against average players, I assume, before skill-based matchmaking kicks in too much. And then even, you know, with new players leaving or worse players leaving, that means skill-based matchmaking is going to have a harder time putting people who aren't so good against each other. Everyone's getting better at the game or quitting, and that's just going to put more people off. And of course this happens with all competitive games. Imagine trying to get into something like StarCraft 2 or Dota 2 or Street Fighter right now. You'd immediately get demolished by the average player who's been playing it for years, and that's probably enough to put you off. Like, that's definitely enough to put me off a load of games where it's like, oh, that game looks awesome, that game looks like a lot of fun, but I don't really see the point of trying to get into it now because I'm going to have an absolutely miserable time trying to get good at the game. So what is the solution to all of this? The only thing I can think of is with Warzone 2, they really need to start fresh, and they need to change the mechanics enough that everybody has to relearn it and try to grab some new people, you know, with the marketing and just telling people like, this is a new game, everyone's starting from scratch, so this is a perfect time to jump in. But unfortunately, that means making significant changes for Warzone 2 almost for the sake of it, like almost just to force people to relearn it. And I think that's probably quite likely. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see things like a change to things like mantling, or a change to things like mounting up on surfaces or tactical sprint. All of those things could easily go away, or at least be changed significantly, and that would force people to learn a lot of new things, and maybe they could add a couple of big new mechanics in as well. But making big changes to something that's been as successful as Warzone is always incredibly risky to do. So what do you think they should do with Warzone 2 to try and get around this problem, to try and lower that average skill level? Or do you think maybe it's not even important at all, and actually for Warzone 2 it's fine if everybody's much better at the game? I think it's really dangerous to the long-term health of the game if like new people aren't coming in, because obviously some of those good players are also going to stop playing because some people just, you know, have other family responsibilities and things like that that stop them playing video games. So the player base will keep on shrinking and shrinking unless they find ways to make it more accessible for new players. So let me know in the comments what your ideas are or what you think about all of this, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
You made it to the top.